afternoon. My name is Daniel Smith. What a pleasure to be here. Thank you to Trialogue and to all the partners for making this happen. I stand here as a privileged white South African from Cape Town. Part of me wishes that I could have one of the small-scale fishers that we are working with alongside me. I'm here to tell you about the work that we as an organization are doing in partnership with small-scale fishers along our beautiful coastline. My name is Daniel Smith from a non-profit called Abalobi, which means fisher in isiXhosa. Our vision is to create thriving, equitable, and sustainable small-scale fisher communities in South Africa and beyond. Our core principles include promoting stewardship, an ecosystems approach to fisheries, climate change adaptation, empowerment in the value chain, cooperative fisheries governance, and the rollout of a tool for policy implementation. Hearing what Judge Albie Sachs had to say about disruption resonated with me. We are an organization that are disrupting value chains and are shaking things up in the small-scale fisheries sector through a process of co-design workshops and fisher-driven networks. We are using technology to connect and shine a light on the small-scale fisheries sector. We have empowered fishers in the value chain and put an eye on knowing who caught your fish, how it was caught, and where it was come from. As you can see here, we've developed a range of 5 different apps. Considering that we're a startup, we've needed to focus our attention on the Abalobi Fisher and Abalobi Marketplace app. This has been due to the recent success and scale of growth within this marketplace that we've developed, which started in December of 2017. I'm proud to say that I was a driver of the first 7 kilograms of Cape bream that was landed in Lambert's Bay and caught by David Shoshola, who you can see here. That batch of fish was delivered to a high-end restaurant in Cape Town, where the price that David received for his fish was available on the app for chefs to see. There's a logistics cost added to that, which is separate to that which the fisher gets. We spoke a bit about transparency. That specific species was considered to be a low-value species, where local fishers generally sold as bundles on the side of the road. They'd stand on the side of the road and hold them up and hope for the best price that they could get. They're now getting up to 6 times the price that they would have before and are able to catch this fish throughout the year. Women are now being included in the value chain and are able to earn more for their post-harvest work. The foundation of this organization has been co-designed with the fishers who are using the technology. We have shortened supply chain links between fishers and consumers through the use of traceability and logistics technology. The Abalobi Fisher app is an important and fundamental beginning of a fisher who's working with Abalobi, whereby fishers log their catch as well as their expenses and sea conditions on that particular day. This tool is a game changer for a sector that up until now has either been on paper or has been completely recordless. Fishers now have a digital record of their expenses and are better able to see and understand their income. The Fisher app is closely linked to the Abalobi Marketplace app, which I mentioned. As you can see here, there's a QR code in that bottom corner below the fisherman, which fishers then scan to record their information. I'll talk a little bit about that now. Up until now, fishers would return to the harbor from a day's fishing and would be at the mercy of the middleman, who would offer them a poor price for their catch. These fishers had no access to market, no cold chain, no logistical infrastructure, and were really at the mercy of these guys. Now, fishers are guaranteed a set price for their catch and are adding value throughout the supply chain. To see the transition of a fisher who travels to sea now with ice and a slurry container and is concerned about the temperature of the fish when landed has been a game changer, and one which he and she is feeling in his or her pocket. The Abalobi Marketplace app is where we've seen the most impact. Our goal was by December of 2018 to have 15 restaurants buying traceable, storied seafood from small-scale fishers. By that time, we had reached 97 restaurants. We currently have 120 registered restaurants. We currently have 120 registered restaurants with a growing waiting list. At the moment, we have more than 300 fishers making use of the app. Our current supply to restaurants is from 5 different fishing communities along the south and west coast. We've started seeing behavioral changes in the way that restaurants are buying fish, as well as the way that fishers are approaching their actual practice. This is where I believe we can start to have a real conversation about sustainability and responsible fishing practices, with the aim of moving species from a red list to an orange list to a green list. We actively promote that a basket of different resources are harvested. This means that fishers now have a market for their entire catch, and chefs are able to access new and exciting species. We've seen that fishers no longer need to catch as much of one specific species, but instead can catch a basket of different resources, spreading the load across these different species and getting a better price at the same time. You may not believe me, but by scanning that QR code, and if you do have a smartphone, you can take it out and scan that QR code. And what that will allow you to do is to know exactly who caught the fish, where it was caught. There's a geopin that we've put into that. There's a picture of the fisher. There's a picture of his boat as well, so you can see exactly where it's come from, and read a little bit more about his or her story. You can also obviously read about the species that's seen there is the Cape bream. Some of our challenges. As I'm sure you can imagine, a biggest critique of ours has been, well, you're taking a relatively high-tech solution to kind of impoverished small fisher communities, which has been tricky, and it's one that we've started to overcome, and it is working. We found it quite difficult to manage the balance between what we're calling touch and tech, so that's a tricky area to navigate. But it's an ongoing conversation in our office and amongst our team about how fast we scale versus managing expectation of fishers and onboarding new fisher communities and new restaurants as well. If we could raise funding, it would be to go towards scaling our reach in existing fisher communities as well as others. And we're also eager to deploy the other apps, which you saw a little bit earlier, the other 3 apps. In the last year, we facilitated the sale of over 31 tons of fish across 30 different species. What's more is we're able to tell you that 2.5 million rands worth of fish that has been sold through the Marketplace app. Of that 2.5 million, 2 million rand has gone back to those fisher communities who have caught and cleaned that fish. Yesterday, we reached 2,117 deliveries, and all of this is part of the tech that we've developed, which is giving us access to live, real-time data. We're currently planning to scale within South Africa to the Eastern Cape, as well as to the Seychelles, Madagascar, and the Comores. I'm hoping that come May, you'll be able to eat fully traceable, storied seafood from small-scale fishers in South Africa here in Johannesburg. So that's busy unfolding as we speak. Thank you very much.